You know, we do these local, non-binding questions in certain districts and rep districts. How many of them have you worked on for legalization?
Well, first of all, I've worked on them all.
How many would you?
10 years.
How many would you count? Give me a number.
1, 2, 3. I think three in for legalization in this state, in Massachusetts. I've done a couple for seatbelt issues and other issues in this state, and I've also done a couple up in Maine and worked on, for legalization here. And one of the ones that I was working on, I was one of the 10 signers on the outright legalization, initiative petition, which I hope to be again. I hope that they call upon me again so I can place my name as one of the 12 or 10 signers to get my name right in there, because I really hate the drug war and what it's done to our civil rights and what's going on. And I just think it's so ridiculous to have cigarettes legal and not have a more safer substance not legal.
And it really is about the money. You said it earlier, and this rapper 50 Cent. Do you know who 50 Cent is? Probably not. Do you?
I've heard of him.
All right, 50 Cent. Recently, there was a video that came out in Croatia, some TV show, walked into his dressing room, and they made it look like he was either smoking or snorting cocaine, and that was the rumor. And whether or not it was true, nobody really knows. I don't think so. I don't think 50 does any drugs or even drinks, from what I hear. But anyways, you never know. But 50 came back and put out this funny, audio on YouTube, and it was just basically saying, why would I care? Like, this is what record companies, this is what sneaker companies do. They want people to do cocaine. You like the sniffy sniff, sniffy sniff, because there's guys selling it, and that means those guys got a lot of money, and they're able to buy the sneakers and the CDs and the clothing line. And he's like, and you better buy mine. That's the truth of it. Like, that's why you have large corporations. The Fortune 500, they're not at the Freedom Rally. We have 70,000 people, and for the most part, it's local, it's mid-sized businesses. You're not seeing, Ford there. And actually, I think Ford is there this year, actually. So we are turning the tide. But
yeah, well, they are making, they have been making their inside console parts out of hemp.
Well, I guess they're bringing down, I heard this, and I'm not sure if it's definitely happened, but I did hear a rumor that Ford has a hemp car that they're bringing down to the Freedom Rally. So that is an exception. You just don't see that on a wide scale. And actually props to Ford for doing that. But, the Fortune 500, they thrive off the drug war. The courts, they would rather do a drug case or a criminal trespass case on a political thing like this if they're going to win, if you're not going to take a fight, rather than do, a violent crime.
Let me touch on that for a second. Let me touch that for a second, because, as softened people, we have private property, and I want to address that for a second, because you see that the reason why we can go into the plazas is because the multinational companies and so forth have bought up these huge places, and what they've done is they put 15, 20 stores, 5, 6, 8 stores. And so mom and pop shops that used to be on the street level of the city have, no patrons anymore. There's nobody walking up and down the street anymore. They all go into these plazas, and they're privately owned. So what happens there is, because they're private property, just like private employers can drug test you and make their own policy that's outside the government. Well, that's what they're trying to do with petitioning, you see. So, but what happened here in Massachusetts, we're unique. We have a lawful right that's written into our Constitution. And so it's in there 3 places, in fact. And so what happens is that they have to, we have a bona fide right to have ballot access and petition and so forth. And so these cities or plazas have turned into streets and highways and like little cities. So that's what gives us the right to the common areas. We can't go in the store, unless there's a huge mall or something. Then we're in the pathways of the malls and not really directly.
Yeah, you have to follow the rules, and you follow the rules, and they did not.
The rules are usually pretty good, but you always find
Yeah.
Okay. And blockers are people who come in and they basically say, I don't like what that fucker guy's doing. Excuse my language.
Yeah. I've done
like
it.
what that guy's
I've
doing.
seen it. I've seen it. I've done it. In Charlestown, it was the worst. Let's put it that way. I did Charlestown, and it was all World War II vets, and I'm trying to talk to them, and they're like, "Where are you from?" You know what I mean? You're not from this hood. You bring in drugs to our kids. It's like, no, you are with your attitude, you meathead. But you know, I don't want to say that back, but you know, I mean.
Well, you can't.
You can't.
You have to be respectful to. You have to be respectful to when people give you an attitude.
Yeah.
You just gotta have to say, yeah, well, I don't know. That's why we're here. We're Americans, and I appreciate you telling me how you feel.
And that you don't, that you don't want to sign. It's okay.
A lot of people think that if they sign, and that's important. That's why I try to teach them. A lot of people think that because they sign the petition, unless it was an initiative petition or a particular, like directive.
Yeah.
But when you're doing a ballot question, it's a non-binding question, and so you're just asking the public for their opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing's going to happen. And when
and especially, I look at it, especially if it's people-backed. I mean, something like MassCan Normal. There's no $1 million corporation back in this movement. There's a movement of people that want something on the ballot.
Right.
Why? It's not even binding. So let's allow it to happen. Like, there's no, even if I agree with you, even if I didn't agree on the petition, I've signed a lot of people's stuff for candidates that I don't agree with, just because I looked at it like, this guy's still an underdog. He's still not, Fortune 500. I don't agree with him on the issues, but I want him on the ballot. Just because.
Yeah, Michael, you don't make your decision until you get him on the ballot.
Exactly. So let's put as many as we can on there and questions about the problem in our current environment is we have two choices.
Exactly.
So we need to open. I mean, that's what I love about what you do.
His employment position as a manager to throw you out and basically violate your rights, and you've been instructive, and you've tried to do everything you can, and tried to be cooperative, and you went over bounds. I mean, most of the people that I know walk in this 24 hours later, they're petitioning. Or even hours later, they give them a notice and they start petitioning. This guy was unique in the sense that I feel he wanted to be he's a cop wannabe.
Yeah, dillweed. Dillweed. A dillweed.
Yeah, whatever.
I know you can't say that, but I'm saying it. But anyway, hey, what do you have you talked to any lawyers about civil suits?
Not yet, because it only happened on the 3rd. But yeah, we're going to investigate that.
How about newspapers or media coverage? Did they cover you? Have they been covered?
You're the first. I told you that you would be the first person I would talk to.
Wow. So we have to get some media. We need the Boston Globe, the Boston Phoenix, the Weekly Dig. I think we can get the Weekly Dig. Those guys are on top of this stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm willing to do whatever that has to get done because.
Are you by chance speaking at the Freedom Rally? Are you on that? Have you?
I should be, but I'm one of those covert fighters.
Well, let me ask you a question. Are you coming down to the Friday night award show?
Probably so, yeah.
Well, you'll be on stage for that. That's my event, and I want you on stage. I want you to say something. Okay. You're up for Activist of the Year too. I don't know if you know that. They're voting on 420 Mass for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. I want you on the stage.
If we happen to win in the civil suit, and we can get some competent lawyers, that later thought you were thinking about, wouldn't it be nice that, a blocker, like Stop and Shop, who drug test people, employers, can imagine being drug tested and you're working as an employee at Stop and Shop. I mean, what are you going to do, go crazy and throw lettuce at somebody? But, let's just say that, we live in a safe zone and they're all safe people and, just congratulate them. But, and they hate marijuana apparently because they, arrested 2 of us for petitioning in their areas. So, wouldn't it be so, just great to have them fund the whole entire legalization movement?